Hi, I'm Ryan Mallory, and I'm here with Rico Gutierrez from Familia Unida Bike Builders. So like Chip Foose builds cars, and as Jesse James builds motorcycles on TV, you build lowrider bikes, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about those.
Lowrider bikes, we're going back in the 70s. These are the bikes, Stingrays. There's bikes that's been in existence already. So what we're doing is just putting our own flavor to it with the Springer front ends, banana seats, which already existed, but we just put more. I'm gonna have to say flake, more glitter to them
Right.
that stand out. 5 years ago, Familia Unida first started as a national bike building program. We are close in relationships with the Familia Unida Car Club, and that's how this whole event started. We started to see that there was less families at car meets, whether it's a car show or a meet, and we're like, you know what? We got to get this going again. We got to get these families out here again, and how else are we going to get our youngsters motivated and excited to build something like a bicycle or working on a car?
Generation, right?
The next generation. So that's what we did. We did it as a car club, and then we saw the outcome was good, and we said, you know what? Let's just actually start an actual program out of it. So then that's when I said, you know what? Let's just reach out to different schools to see if they want to get involved in it. And that's when I teamed up with Tom Cole from Kids Unlimited, and we did 4 bike builds there at 4 of his sites. And I believe it was Jackson Elementary, Oak Grove, Wilson Elementary, and we did one there at Kids Limited.
The part that got my heart is the mentoring that you guys do with kids, because like right now you have a shop in White City on Dutton Road. Correct. And really cool graffiti on the walls, like artist graffiti, and the cool bikes everywhere, and lots of tools and equipment and stuff like that to work on the bikes. But those kids are getting personal time from guys and gals that want to spend time on youth and help them with the bikes and things like that. And sometimes, we'll talk about the new shop. Those are in places where there's some pretty high crime rate, which means those kids are exposed to things they might not be in other neighborhoods, and maybe don't have the mentoring and maybe even the family life sometimes that they need, and they can feel safe. And at first you had a slogan. What was that?
Don't have to get high to ride low.
Yeah, there you go. About keeping kids out of gangs and drugs, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And out of that came some other things. Like right now there's a bicycle hill program going on, and we plan on continuing that every year. We've both talked to Brian Stewart. Thanks, Brian, for putting that together. And that'll be I think the first event in our new shop, which is the Firehouse at 8th and Lincoln. It was a Medford Fire Department firehouse, kind of like the one on Highland. It looked like an older 50s or 60s house with a big roll-up door or two next to it for the fire trucks. And that firehouse was purchased by Youth 715 Ministries. One of the fellows that was part of the firehouse, or who kind of had the vision at first, is a guy named Matt.
Matt Sweeney.
Matt Sweeney, and I always kind of know him as a little bit of a legend in juvenile detention and helping kids. When we lay over a crime map in that neighborhood, it has, aside from the Greenway, the most compact, high amount of crime in Medford.
Yes, we're very excited for that too, because it is in the neighborhood, a hard neighborhood to live at. But you know what? With us there and lifting up the youth, I think it's going to be a great thing.
I think the kids will come out for it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff. So we have other things to talk about relative to that. This shop. So when I saw that shop on Dutton Road, the community has really come out to support it. It's got cool stuff. Like, I want to go work on my bike or my car in that shop. It's really cool.
Yeah, and again, about the foundations, they're the pillars of the community.
Yeah.
Without the help of them, none of this would be possible.
I tell you, yeah, there's a lot of foundations, so many we can't even name them all. And those foundations that give grants, they generally work behind the scenes and don't get noticed a lot, so we definitely want to thank them. When I look at the other shop, it's empty.
Yeah, there's an issue there.
We need stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to run a charity drive called Fill the Shop for Kids. And the hand tools, the bike lifts, the different things that need to go in a shop to, one, work effectively on them. But this isn't so much a bike shop where we're trying to mass produce things and sell them. It's more about teaching the kids to use those tools and have something that they could carry forward into a trade or work on their own bikes later. There's welding that goes on. And then all of the different tools, when kids learn to use that stuff and learn to show up every day, and you make them keep up on their grades. You check in with them on their homework and that kind of stuff, right?
Oh, yes. It's definitely it's something that we need to do. Definitely have them set goals, and we teach them how to get to the steps to reach that goal. And surprisingly, it's not just one goal that they want. It's a few goals. So we got to slow them down.
Yeah.
Let's just work on the first goal first.
Yeah.
Then go on to the next one.
Makes sense. Kids hang around for quite a while, and you were telling me at one point some of them end up building their own bike.
Yeah, they have their own theme of how they want their bike to look like. We have one right now that she's building her. What is that guy, Captain America? That's the thing that she wants her bike to be.
Cool.
So I was like, great, come out with your ideas, and she put them on paper. And I keep in mind she's only 11 years old, but just the ideas that these kids create on their own.
Yeah, without any thought as to what's possible. They'll actually tell you their dream.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've seen some of the themed bikes. There's one that you guys did for Napa, because Napa is a big supporter of the program.
Sponsor.
And another one for Spartan Boxing.
Yes.
Yeah, the themed bikes are pretty darn cool and kind of like what you'd see on TV, something that a bunch of people have put a lot of heart and time into. It's very inspiring.
Yes, it is. We have a lot of businesses that want us to build a bike for them, and most part of it is just so the kids can get together and work together as a team and build these bikes. That's where the heart is.
And for right now, there's not really a program until the shop has the different things that it needs to be able to help the kids with it. We can still have kids meet there. We can show bikes. Right. We can talk to them about stuff. We can mentor them a little bit, but to actually work on bikes, we have some footwork to do, and we estimate that at between $10,000 and $15,000 of equipment and tools and supplies and those kind of things that we would need to fill that shop, fill the bike shop for kids campaign, and we'll put some stuff out on it on Scanner Group and around in the community and whatnot.
I think that's just
be cool
great
to see bike shops like this in different cities. Possibly decide to buy some kind of tool or make some kind of donation that would buy tools for the new shop, which will allow us to get to a lot more kids and serve a lot more people and put some smiles on kids' faces for sure. They look happy to be there. I've been at the White City shop when Grants Pass brings their juvenile detention kids in, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and those kids look happy, and you started that day out with a ride on the really cool bikes, and to go from being in juvenile detention out to the fresh air and one cool badass bike that those kids probably normally wouldn't be brought.
Yeah.
They were engaged, and then when you're back in talking to them and feeding them lunch and working on bikes, they are totally engaged. It's amazing to see for sure. Another one that I got to see is a Boy Scout troop, and they came in, and they were younger kids, and they brought their bikes with them, and it's a pretty big parking lot that shop is in. Did some tools around the parking lot, taught them to put a tube in a tire, taught them to work on their bikes a little bit and that kind of stuff, and they were pretty into it too.
Yeah, that was really fun. Being 8 and 9-year-olds and just having fun with them. Showing them how to oil up their chain and air up the tires. It was just a blast.
Yeah, for sure.
It was fun.
And bicycles kind of cut across all generations, all cultures, color, religion. None of those things matter when you're on a bike or working on a bike. It's about the bikes, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and learning some things from guys that really care about the kids.
Yeah, just like the name says it. Familia Unida. The translation is Family United.
Familia Unida! the shop for kids.
Fill the shop for kids.
Fill the shop for kids.
Fill the shop for the kids.
Fill the shop for the kids.
Fill the shop for kids. Fill the shop for kids.